How you doing? Long time no speak. We're out of lockdown, got myself back in shape. I was in no fit state to be making videos, but I don't think any of us were. But I'm back now, and I put a little email out the other day asking if anyone was interested in my blogs anymore, my articles. Because the last one went out to 6,000 people. Admittedly, only a couple of thousand opened. But only like 40 people read it. And it's just like, that took me 3 days. And it's just like, what's the point? So I thought, I'll ask, should I just stop them? And a lot of people emailed back saying, Mark, do the videos. So I'm doing videos. I like doing the videos. And I've got to get better at them. I've got to stop doing them late at night. It's late here, so I haven't got any natural lights. I've got these silly lights on now, just trying to do something with it, and I'm sweating because it's so hot now because of the lights, despite it being 50 degrees Fahrenheit here. It's cold at the moment. And I've got a lot of reverb. I'm in an old building. She's 150 years old, hand-built, no insulation in the walls to deaden things, and she's double high ceilings, bless her, so it's going to echo, and I apologise for that as well. I will get better, and I'll get one of those little mics and stuff if people bother to watch the vids. But I wanted to tell this story today about how NITROvit came to be. The story about how I got investment, how I didn't, how I had a breakdown, how I nearly jumped off a 9th-floor balcony, and some other crazy stuff. And I never thought it was a story because I lived it and just that was it. But I sat there and told someone it one day. And I talked and talked, and they didn't interrupt, and at the end I thought, oh my God, I said, I'm so sorry, I've been talking for like 45 minutes. I'm so sorry. And they said, Mark, it's so cool, that story was really inspiring. And I never saw it that way, but I thought I'd give it to you today in case you're thinking of starting a business, or you went for it, or you went to do something, spoke to the pretty girl, guy at the bar, whatever, and got rejected and thought, oh, I'm never doing that again. And I want to share it with you now. And it's Sunday night, it's 8 PM, and so I'm going to have a beer because it's been a long week. So cheers. Also, I'm not going to do any videos anymore if I can't be myself. And I swear. That doesn't mean I'm going to be effing and blinding in this video, but I'm just going to be myself. If a swear word comes out, it does, because that's how I talk. I'll try and tone it down, but I don't want to start thinking about what I'm saying. So if you're easily offended by swear words, you've been warned. Don't go and put something in the comments. Just know that this video isn't for you. And piss off. We go back to 2012, 2013. I'd had a successful life before that. I'd earned a load of money. Got super stressed out. I had a company Porsche and about $130,000 a year. And I hated it. I was running car dealerships and I just hated it. And one day I was sat there miserable and I saw this picture of a beach as I was just scrolling Google Images or whatever, and it was a beach in Thailand, and this voice in me said, get up right now and take those keys, it was a Porsche, take those keys into the old GM's office and throw them at him. And I did. I'd been miserable, I had money in the bank. So I picked up the keys and I went in and I said, Rick, I ain't doing this anymore. He said, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. Right now I'm getting on a train home. Keep my salary for the month, whatever, I don't care. I'm done with it. I've been selling cars for 8 years. And it wasn't me anymore. I didn't like it. I wanted to go do something good. So I got on a plane. I went to Thailand and to find this beach, and I started burning through cash fast, as you do in a place like Thailand, I guess Miami, wherever, one of these big London, these big cities, and the evening draws you in and the wallet comes out, and after about a year I was pretty broke. About 2 years I was broke, but I didn't want to go home. And I started teaching English, and I love teaching English. I was teaching English to these kids. I was doing kindergarten all the way up to 16 years of age, and the kindergarten, it was amazing. I walked out of my first kindergarten class, and for the first time in an hour in my life, I hadn't thought about me. Now, I'm not a father, so I don't know. You're probably a parent. If you are, you'll understand what it's like. But I was watching their little heads, and watch the corner of the desk, and for 1 hour, I didn't even think about my problems, worries, bills, had to phone me mum and said hi in a week, and any of that stuff. And it was so relaxing. But I was broke. I was short running out of cash. I'd had a good time. Obviously, that job was paying something like $500 a month. And inside of me was this person that wanted to do more, obviously. I'd had my couple of years off, I'd relaxed, I'd had a lot of good fun. So I started thinking, what can I do? And at that time, I was taking a prototype of NITROvit, if you like, a prototype of the formula, a mixture of nootropics and vitamins to help me with my own ADHD. I'd had a rough time with the doctors, as you likely know the story, and the stuff they put me on just, you know, I didn't feel good at all. And so I created my own nootropic stack, which was the prototype for NITROvit, and that started getting me more motivated and driven, and I was feeling agitated in the school in those last couple of months. Nothing to do with the kids or anything, just thinking, come on Mark, there's more in you than this. You've had your 2 years, 3 years off, it's time to get back to work again. And so I started sort of hanging around. What I was doing was I was on Facebook and I was sort of looking for CEOs and stuff and movers and shakers in Bangkok, which was where I was staying. And wherever someone was, I would sort of send them a friend request. When I found them, I'd send them a friend request. And at that time, I was running with about 4,000 contacts, and I was looking at where people were going. And I was trying to get close to millionaires, and I would see what events they were going to. I'd befriend them, say hi. Back in those days, everyone wanted to connect. Facebook was brand new, and it was interesting to meet new people. Now, it's just like, who's this weirdo sliding into my DMs? But back then, it was very different. So I would turn up at these events and I knew who I was there for. I would have a target in mind and I thought, I'm going to get in front of this person, I'm going to impress them, and I'm going to do something with them, I hope. And I kept doing that, and I'd meet these people and everyone would say, you've got this great energy and you've got these great ideas and you're articulate and maybe smart. You know, what can we do? And eventually I met someone, and I won't mention her name, but she was in the supplement industry already doing herbal Viagra. And I was fascinated, and we got talking, and I was introduced to her, and we got talking, and she liked me and I liked her, and she gave me a little test run. She said, here, I've got a website, go and play with that, see what you can do with the words on that, and because you seem like you can, you know, you can talk well. And so I went and had a little play with the words and did a good job, and sales went up a little bit, and I really enjoyed it. And I sat there thinking, I've got this nootropic stack, NITROvit version 1, I wonder if I could do something with that, because it was helping me and it was helping partners and friends and stuff like that I was sharing it with. So we started talking. She was a multi-millionaire, and I was like, at that time I was just focused on money. I'd never really thought about helping anyone. Even with NITROvit, I didn't ever think it would help someone. I just thought, it's working for me, I'm feeling motivated, I've got off my backside, pulled myself out of this, you know, the slump, and I want to go and do something. And if that could make people feel that way, great, but I didn't really consider it helping them. And I was just like, yeah, let's make some money and, you know, retire. And we got talking and we set about a deal. And she said, Mark, I will lend you $55,000, which was what I worked out I needed to get rocking. And in hindsight, I could have done it for less, but at that time I wanted to get a team and I wanted to hire 4 people. And we shook hands. And I went to work, and for about a month I worked my ass off. I designed logos and names and brands and did keyword research, and I was tightening up my formula, and I was going around interviewing people in Bangkok that I'd already met that I knew were into nootropics, and I was just trying to see if I could get my formula even better. And I phoned my mum one day, and I'd struggled for a couple of years, and I'd been frustrated. Again, I was on good money in a previous life, but it's hard when, you know, sometimes we have these flashes in life and we can't get back there. And I didn't want to go back to selling cars, but I couldn't find anything that I could do outside of that would pay me well. So I finally thought, once I'd partnered up with this person, I thought, I've made it. And I phoned Mum one night. I was so frustrated. I said, Mum, I can breathe again. I'm going to make it. And it's going to happen. And we've been working on this for a month, and we're ready to go. And tomorrow, she's paying the deposit. And Mum said, well done, son. Stay strong, keep focused. Don't get above yourself. Just keep focused and keep working hard. And I said, I will. And then wife and I were so happy. We were like so excited. Finally, someone had given me the opportunity to not work for someone else, but to work for myself and create something. Whenever I created something, I put everything into it. You'll know this if you suffer from attention deficit disorder. Like we're absolutely useless at most things until this new thing comes along, and then we're like 200 miles an hour, laser focused, and it's all or nothing. It's my 50th birthday, can you come out? No, not now, I'm busy, you know. It's your wedding anniversary, what are we doing? What? Nothing, I'm busy. And that's how it was, I was so excited. 11 o'clock at night, she calls me. Literally 1 hour to midnight. The next day, she's paying that deposit so that we can get the formula into production, in a laboratory, in the US of A. We're all good to go, and she phones me. And she said, Mark, I've been sat on this for a couple of days, and I don't think you've got it. And I don't think you're an action taker. And I'm sorry, you're a bright guy, but I just don't think you're an action taker, and I'm not into it. And I'm backing out. And have a good life. And that was it. Now, I've not told you the frustrations and stuff, but, you know, I don't want to go too far into it, but I had been frustrated, and that weekend I had a breakdown. I didn't even know what a breakdown was. I was approaching 30, 35, 36. I had done well, as I told you, but at that point I was struggling to get back on form. I thought I had my chance. I loved the idea of NITROvit, something I'd created, being put out there, and my whole world fell apart. My whole world fell apart, and I won't go into it, but I freaked out one day, screamed at the wife over absolutely nothing. I got something completely wrong. I never shouted at the wife, but there was obviously this, I mean, we've had like two arguments in 12 years. We don't argue at all, but back then I was so screwed up, and when that happened, I just exploded the next day. This was on the Sunday or Saturday, I think it was. And I had a breakdown. I realised I was wrong. I said I was sorry. And then I just burst into tears, and I fell on the floor, I don't know why, and I just wailed like a baby. And she, I remember she came down, she's just rubbing me, and she's like, what's wrong, what's wrong? She's rubbing my arm and trying to comfort me, and I was just so frustrated. And that week I told her, I don't want to do this anymore. I find life too hard. And you'll know this if you suffer badly from ADHD. It's hard, and then we see something. We can't get on with people, or we're hyper aware, and we see all the faults in the world, and we see what's going on, and we understand with big tech and big pharma, and we can see what's going on. Intelligence is a curse, and I don't mean to say that I'm intelligent, but I'm certainly aware. And I just had enough, and I broke down, and you know, that week we were on the 9th floor, and I said to her, I just want to jump off the balcony. I just want to sleep. I don't want the ups and downs of life anymore. I don't want the fact that on the 1st of the month the bills are going to come under the door, and I have no choice but to put the foot to the floor, put the foot on the gas, and have to go and work and do all this stuff. You know, what happened to this gift? Weren't we supposed to be born and just walk and wander and explore this gift that our Creator gave us? And instead we just all get on the rat race, the 9 to 5, slog our guts out. And so we locked the balcony door, she locked the balcony door, and she took the key and she hid that for 9 days. And I was all right the next day. I woke up that next day. I remember it was a Saturday I had the breakdown. On the Sunday I woke up and I really didn't have any money left. I mean, I was getting paid okay, but I needed to keep working. And I said to her, I don't want to mention that person's name. Let's come up with a name. Susan. I said, Susan's given me enough pieces of the puzzle, and NITROvit's a damn good formula, and I believe in it. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to quit my job. And I said, we got about $600, $800 left, and I'm going to quit, which gives us about 3 weeks. And then we're toast, we're done. But I'm going to phone everyone I know. I'm going to knock every single door, and I'm going to quit that job, because if I don't, I'm just going to do it for another year and get more and more miserable. So I quit on the Monday, and then I started making phone calls. I reached out to some guy, really great guy, Dan. He was like a brother to me. And he got on the phone to some people, and he called me back and he said, Mark, I've got someone who wants to sit and talk to you. He loves supplements. He's an angel investor, you know, like sort of 50,000. around there, 100,000, small, investor, and he's up for looking for just one person to go in with. So he said, he'll meet you in a couple of days. He'll meet you on Wednesday, I think it was. And I said, no. I said, no, Dan, this is my chance, and this is my one chance, and I'm not fucking it up this time. No way. I said, I'll meet him in 7 days' time. I'm going to put a damn good proposal together. And I got these pictures, actually, as I'm talking. I think when I watch this back and I try and reduce some of this echo and stuff, when I edit this video, I'll put some of these pictures over. So I know the picture, yeah, forgive me, shirts off, sorry. Here's some pictures of me writing a business plan. I didn't know how to write a business plan. But listen, I know how to research, right? Doesn't matter what we don't know how to do. Google knows everything, just ask Google. So I type into Google, the very best pitch deck, investor pitch, what do you do? And I came across Guy Kawasaki, who was Apple's top, pitcher, top sales guy. And he was on YouTube with this formula on how to create a PowerPoint using just 10 slides. And I sat there and I studied it and I replicated the slides, and then there was the underlying magic, the team, the opportunity and all this stuff, the finances required, the projections, the timelines. And I just got to work. It took me 7 days, but I always love to do the work up front. If you go and hit someone with a Word doc, a proposal, if something comes out of your mouth and you say, and you've got it in your head, you can see it. I've got this, I can see the bottle, I can see the logo, and it's going to be called NITROvit, and it's going to be so great. And that person can't see it. They may not even be a visual learner. They may not be able to create visual images. So they may be auditory, and they can only hear, that they sort of create images through sounds and stuff. And so I went and created a bottle. I got it rendered up front. I did all the work up front so that it was pretty much done. All I had to do was turn up and say, I've got this beautiful idea for a bottle. Here it is. And I had it all in 3D and stuff. I found the software. I went to work on that and I created the original proposal. At that time, NITROvit wasn't called NITROvit. It was called Proderol, I think. I wanted to work off the Adderall name, but Pro sounded professional. At first it was Max Derol, I think, Maximum Adderall. Just some stupid stuff. And but I didn't know what I was doing. And I put together this business plan, and the 7 days came up and it was time to meet him. Didn't know where to meet. He didn't know what I was doing. He didn't know how serious I was about this. And again, he didn't know I was ADHD and that I was going to go 200 miles an hour. Like, I'm there, haircut, shaving. The day before I'm haircut, I'm getting one of those, razor cuts from the barber with a hot towel. I've gone out and bought a new suit, new shirt, new tie, new everything. That was just down to about $200 now. By the way, I didn't tell you, I actually met another investor before then. Another guy, a guy called Mark, I think his name was, same as me. What a pig, what a pig. He was this giant fat guy, and he just sat there with this big cigar, and he's like, hit me with it. And I'm like, and he said to me, what's your point of differentiation? I gave him the whole NITROvit spiel, and he said, what's your point of differentiation? I said, I'll tell you what, I care. I care. I said, all these supplement companies, they just got these bottles and the formulas are weak, they're underpowered, and they're not talking, they're not providing info. I said, we're going to create a great blog, we're going to create a community, and he's just looking at me like this. You idiot. You care. Oh, that's lovely. No thanks, sweetheart. He was so rude, and he just belittled me. And I didn't know what to say, and I considered myself pretty sharp, but that was my first pitch to an investor for something I really wanted, and he blew me away. And I saw him a few years later and gave him one of them. Anyway, I go to meet Martin. And Martin, I'm sure you're watching this video right now, and I love you, mate, and God bless you. Martin says, not knowing what I'm like, he says, yeah, tell Mark to meet me in this little cafe, this little coffee shop thing. Excuse me. It's got about capacity of about 60 people. It's in Bangkok, it's called Chu. Lovely. But it's all open plan, and you're literally sat next to all the other tables. I rock up with a laptop, this like 13-page or whatever, 10-page PowerPoint, and I'm in a suit, shirt, tie, and I walk in, And he's like, wow, he's in t-shirt. And I start going for it. And I'm going to put a picture up. I didn't have any pictures that day, but I got a picture of me that I took. I don't know why. I don't know whether I slipped with the phone or whether I was taking a picture of the lemonade and soda or whatever I had, the lemon and soda drink. Can't remember, but the picture you'll see now is of that I'm waiting for him to arrive. He turns up. And he's like, what do you got? You look a bit overdressed, but what do you got? Bearing in mind, we're in Bangkok. It's like 30 degrees C, so I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but 150 would it be? I know it's 10 today, and it's 10 C, 50 Fahrenheit. 150, does that sound right? Whatever, I don't work in Fahrenheit, but it's boiling and I'm sweating more than I am now under these lights. And I start pitching. And when I start going, and my energy gets going, and I'm getting louder and louder, and I know he's looking around because everyone's looking, and I've noticed this cafe, and it's about 40 people in there, like it's very busy, very packed. It's getting quieter and quieter, and I'm getting louder. Look right now, my legs, you can't see it, my legs going, I'm getting revved up. And I go for it, and all I'm thinking is, I'm seeing this ball and chain around my ankle, the 9 to 5, the rat race, and every word that comes out of my mouth is like another damn hammer strike on that chain. Bang! I am never getting another boss again. Bang! I will work for myself. Bang! I am not going to do any job for $600 a month. Bang! And so it went on. I clocked what was going on. It had gone so quiet. I look up and I see that everyone has now just swiveled round and they're watching me going for it, sweating in a shirt and tie in 150 degrees or whatever. And at the end of it, he said, wow, 2 hours I went for. I think it was supposed to just be a friendly chat, but I gave it to him. I was Guy Kawasaki at that moment. I was pitching for Apple. I was Steve Jobs pitching for Disney with the Pixar contract. And he turned around and he said, you got a deal? I said I wanted 75 grand or whatever, or 100 grand. And he said, okay, you got a deal. I walked out, I ran home, hugged the wife, phoned mum. I've done it, mum. I got funding. It's going to transfer some of the money tomorrow so that I can get the first batch ordered, get the money over to New York. She's like, all right, son, calm down, keep a cool head, stay strong. Don't get too excited. Bless mum. She's always trying to hold my ankles because she knows me. I'm just up there when I'm on something. And I need people like that in my life. She's like, stay cool. It was about 10 o'clock at night. 10 o'clock my time, because I'm in Bangkok, she's in the UK. They're quite 6 hours behind. 11 o'clock at night, I get an email. It's from Martin. He says, Mark, I'm sat here thinking about this. I've been thinking about this all afternoon and evening. And I'm not happy, and I need to see it tomorrow. He said, I can't go ahead. I'd arranged a loan with him. I can't do it, Mark. I'll meet you tomorrow if you can. I replied back. I nearly wanted to say, oh, fuck you. But I didn't. And I didn't have a nervous breakdown either. I thought one or two things are going to happen. I'm either going to slam him again for another 2 hours, or I'm going to throw him out the window if I could pick him up. But that night, I sat there and I didn't sleep, and I did feel down. The honest truth was I was devastated, I was heartbroken, and I think I had a tear that night. I don't know, I hugged the wife, and she's just like, see what he wants, and I thought, he's probably going to chip me on the money. He didn't say I'm out, he just said, I'm not happy with the deal, and we need to talk, and there's got to be some differences. Some things got to change, and I thought, he's going to come and kick me in the nuts, and he's going to offer me like $30,000, and I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm going to have to shoestring it. And I just can't do it. I couldn't sit here. I wasn't confident in doing it with one person, or, you know, compromising on the formula so that we could afford to buy. I wasn't interested in any of that. It was like, either I need that 75 grand or I get lost. I could do it about 55 maybe, but... So I go down there. I've had a couple of hours sleep. I go down in the morning. This time I'm just casual. I'm white as a sheet, I'm sweating, it's so hot, I'm so screwed up from lack of sleep. And I sit down and I'm ready to kill him, and I'm like, "Hi Martin, what's the issue?" And he said, "Mark, you sold me too hard yesterday." He said, "I can't do a loan, I want equity." And of course, when you're talking a loan and someone agrees, but then they switch you over to equity, and you've had like 12, 18 hours thinking that you got off scot-free and that you still own 100% of the company, it's like, damn. And I was like, oh God. So, do you know what? He was still, the offer was on the table, but I needed to hand over equity. So we became partners. And it was actually the best thing I ever did. Without him, I wouldn't have been able to do it probably, because he was sharp with finances, had a very successful business, was very good with money, very smart guy, super smart. And I'm not super smart. And I'm not that cross the T's, dot the I's kind of guy. He was. So we went into business together, and I phoned the lab and I said, "Money's being transferred over." And we got the thing set up, and we got going, and we got the first batch done. Now, this is kind of funny because he had only given me a little bit of the money. He'd only given me enough to pay for the deposit on the first load of stock. It's something like 20 grand or something just to get that going. And I said to him, "Why don't you come over?" I was naive and stupid, I think. I don't know. I'm just me. I am like me. And I don't sometimes think how I come across to others. I'm just me. I was living in a room at that point because we'd become quite poor. I was living in a room like, I don't know what it was. It was small. It wasn't much bigger than where I'm talking now. I mean, it was literally a bed. And if you've ever been to Thailand, you'll probably recognize and understand what I'm talking about here. It was a bed. And then we had like this cardboard little wall, which was about 1 inch thick. And then there was the toilet. And you know, you just, when you went to the loo, the missus was on the bed or whatever, you'd put the music up loud and run the bath. There wasn't a bath, it was a shower. You'd run the shower just so she couldn't hear you go into the toilet. That's how, like, you'd be sat there and she was a foot away from you through this little wall on the bed. And I said to him, "I'm going to use some of the money for furniture and all this. I'm going to get a couple of desks, I'm going to hire some people." And I said, "Come and have a look what we're doing." And I'd gone off to IKEA, actually. I'd got the desks already. And I can't remember if I'd set up or not. Anyway, yeah, I had set up. And I invited him round. This room was so small. It was what were we paying? 9,000 baht. It was about $190 a month to rent. That's how tiny it was. And he walked in, and he went, "Oh." And I could see straight away, you know, when someone's not happy. And really, he knew nothing about me, and I didn't have any credentials, and he knew that. You know, there was no qualifications. I didn't finish school. I wasn't interested. I was always staring out the window. Typical ADHD brain. I was not interested in learning about Henry VIII and his 8 wives from 800 years ago, you know. I was interested in trying to find solutions for the world's problems in the future and stuff like that. I didn't have any qualifications. And he walked in, so he'd done it all on me, and because I was such a good talker, he'd assumed that, you know, and from my previous life, I mean, I used to have a house and everything. I sold that, and I had nothing left. And he realised, oh my God, I've just invested in a bum. I've invested in a bum. And he's like, "Mark, this is a concern. Is this where you live?" And I'm like, yeah, I told you I was teaching. He's like, "Yeah, but I thought you'd had a success." Yeah, it was like 3 years ago. I've spent that money, mate. And, you know, it did run out, and this is where I'm at now. And he sort of went, "Okay." And I talked him round. I said, "Listen, don't worry. This is what's going on. Tomorrow I'm going down going to get this. Da, da, da." And he's like, "All right." But he walked away, and I could tell he was white as a sheet by the time he left, and he was not impressed at all. I'll put a picture up right now. Here's Dave. I'll put a picture up in a second. I got into Facebook, into the groups, Bangkok employment, and I started putting ads out, looking for some pirates to come help me steer a ship. And had a few people respond, hired 2 people, Cherry and Louis, and here they are on day 1. And where they're sat, that you'll see, that you'll see a desk, 2 desks, and where those 2 desks are, that was where our bed was. What we did was actually we moved the bed to the left, which completely blocked the little door. So there were, cameras just cut off, forgive me. So there was these 2 desks, and what you're seeing in the picture there is where those desks are, the bed was, but to get the desks in, and there's some pictures, you can see the boxes from the desk. I'll put the boxes for the desk, and then you'll see the desk laid out. And this is Cherry and Louis' first day, and I had to move the bed over into the corner, and that blocked the little balcony we had. It was like one of them cigarette balconies, you know. You couldn't get a table out there or a chair. It was just literally for hanging out and having a cigarette if you smoked. And we went to work, and I hired a 3rd guy, Jeff. And Jeff was writing, because we were doing some blogs and stuff like that. And Jeff was sat on the bed. There was no more room for a chair. So Jeff was on the bed with his laptop. There was 3 of us in a room that was like 10 square foot. Like, it was brilliant. I never cared. I'd been given an opportunity, and we went for it. And we started selling. And I think the people that bought, firstly, we were received so well by the review sites, bless them. The review sites came in, did us proud. They love NITROvit. The lab that built it did a really great job with the ingredients. The quality of the ingredients was great. Even better than the quality on my prototypes that I'd been using for about a year, that I was making myself. So the review sites love NITROvit, and I was constantly, endlessly writing to people and telling them, I've got this, can I send you a bottle, would you review it, what do you think of it? And it was exhausting, but we made it, and sales started coming in, and people started writing back. And I tell you something, I told you at the beginning, very honestly, I never considered that it would help people. But I started getting emails from people, and I remember the first month we did big money, and you know, me and the wife put a nice lump sum in our pocket. It was about $20,000, and I never realised that. I guess I don't know. You see all these millionaires everywhere, and I'm not a millionaire by any means, but I felt like it that day. And the money's never been that good since. But in that first period, there was no one in the market, and we put 20,000. I remember that night we held hands and we danced around the room doing a little waltz type thing, and we were singing, "We're gonna be rich, we're gonna be rich." And then we went online shopping all evening and bought new phones and some stuff. And it was good because I'd worked hard. I was doing 18 hours a day on my life, setting that business up. There was so much to do, and I had to do a lot with my team in Bangkok during the day. But the US was like 12 hours behind. And so when everyone went home at 5, I'd have like maybe half an hour rest, get a shower, and then I'd get back on it, and I'd be dealing with the US, reaching out to all the people there, sorting the labs, sorting the labels, getting the bottles, all that kind of stuff, learning all the FDA laws. I was learning more and more about the ingredients. I just wanted to maybe make some adjustments, and I had to make a lot of phone calls, and of course that saw me working late into the night. So many, many days. I remember I did 13 days in a row of 18 hours, and that was me going to bed at 2 and then getting back up at 8 a.m. And the wife, God bless her, Noon, was passing meals over my shoulder, you know, and she's like, "Are you all right? Why don't you take a break? Take a break." And I said to her, "I don't want to. This is the most amazing fun I've ever had. I'm just loving it." It was like I was a kid and I'd been given this giant Lego box set, and I was building something for us. And you know, I talk about the money because I never cried. We cried that night when we danced around the room and stuff. We cried. It was such a relief after being in the gutter. And that was down the road. I mean, that was month 7 or 8. But I started getting these emails. And people, I never even realized I had this level of compassion in me. But people were emailing me, and I got this email from a guy, and he said, "I'm 73, and I've just fired 3 of my 4 helpers, and I've gone back out into the garden for the first time in 7 years. So, it gets me every time. And I've chopped wood again. And I was like I was now. I'm like, damn. I'm actually making a difference to someone's life, you know? And then I had another lady, and she emailed me. And she said she had these post-it notes all around the room telling her to lock the door and turn the lights off and stuff because she couldn't remember. And that she'd been taking NITROvit for 4 months and she had taken them all down. I cut it here. Ah, fuck. You know, we're pretty small now. NITROvit, as great as it is, and it's a fucking great formula. NITROvit is down here on the Google rankings. And there's these wholesale formulas, these white label formulas, like these underpowered $4 a bottle for you to buy as a merchant. Formulas that are sat at number 1 on Google under the term best brain supplement that do nothing for no one except for just take their money and fill the pockets of these giant venture capitalists who come in with millions and they're just throwing 100,000 a month on pay-per-click ads. And those emails have slowed up because we don't reach enough people anymore, and I'm not very good at marketing. I don't know how to do it. And it's sad, but I'll never forget in those first few years when before the review sites were all bought and paid for by the likes of Mindlab Pro and Qualia and these other people. You'll see them all at number 1 and number 2 on every single review site now. It's all just rigged. The whole internet's rigged. I'm not laying into those 2 companies. They just bought their millions in and their teams, 50 staff, and they went to town. I don't believe they have the best formulas. I know Mindlab Pro doesn't. I built this, the UK version, and I thought, let's do an experiment. So Mindlab Pro's got 500 milligrams of lion's mane, so I put 732 in. They got 100 of phosphatidylcholine, so I put 160 in. I just went and built a better one, better Mindlab Pro, that's what that is. I just went and took their 6 top ingredients, and I literally put 30-40% more ingredients in it, and then I went and sent the formula to all the review sites and never heard back from no one. That's the world we live in, and again, sorry Mindlab Pro, you did what you felt you needed to do, and God bless you. But I missed the days where I was getting those emails from people. But anyway, it was an amazing time, and I got to a year, and I went back to Susan. I was sat there, and I was so grateful. She had changed my life. She backed out, she screwed me up, and she did it in the last hour. But she gave me enough pieces of the puzzle and the confidence to go in and build an e-commerce business. And I messaged her one day, a year later, and I said, Susan, I just want to let you know, I went off and I built NITROvit. I took what you gave me, and I've changed my life, and I've changed a lot of people's lives as well. And we're getting a lot of lovely letters from people. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you gave me. And she came back to me. And we hadn't spoken since that day she backed out. And it'd been a year, almost to the day if I remember rightly. And she said, Mark, let's meet. So I met her. Part of it was ego, part of it was I genuinely cared and I wanted to say thank you. I was well over any bitter feelings I had felt. And we sat down, had a drink, and I showed her what I'd done, and she was like, wow, I was wrong. You took action. I'm so impressed. And it's a funny story, but over the coming weeks, she talked me into doing something together. And she said, let's do another supplement. And so, I don't know why I did, but I wanted to learn more from her more than anything. I really respected her as a mentor, and the thought of working with her, you know, I went back to Martin, who was still my partner, and I said, hey Martin, I want to work with Susan, and I know there's a conflict of interest there, but I could learn a lot as well. And Martin was, God bless him, said, Mark, go and do whatever makes you happy. So I built another NITROvit, and that NITROvit is still out there, doing really well. The formula's not as good, but Susan brings a big team of marketers with her. She's in e-commerce and supplements, and you know, she's got a great team, and I won't mention the name, but it's still out there right now. And someone did actually mention it once in the comments of a video. I'll say no more than that. I let her down in a way. I had a few issues with her. She belittled me a couple of times. She's a very, very smart lady, and she made me feel a little bit down, and I was sensitive. I am sensitive. You've just seen me tear up. Clearly I'm sensitive, and I was oversensitive, and I let her down. And at that time I was a little bit lost to, I was smoking marijuana back then, and I don't now, but I did then, and I didn't bring the best of myself, you know. I worked hard, marijuana would help me lock in, work, but I needed to be a cut above to go out with her, and eventually we decided to go our own ways. And Susan, if you're watching right now, I apologise. It's on me. So, that really is the story of NITROvit. And it's been tough, it's been real tough, but we're still here today, smaller than we were, but I'm still getting letters now and again, not as much as I'd like. I mean, I used to love it at the beginning, everyone would write, and the emails that would come in, oh my God, I'd cry every week. Me and the wife would cry our eyes out. We've had some incredible letters. We've met some incredible people. And we're still here. It's been 8 years now. And the last 3 years have been tough. And then we went into lockdown and stuff like that. But I'm feeling good now, you know. I got very depressed last year, and COVID has kept me apart from Noon, my wife. I came back to the UK just to come and say hi to Mum. I'd not seen her, I'd not been back to the UK for many years, and I came back to say hi. And then COVID kicked in, and I got stuck here. And both where Noon is and where I am were put on the red list, and we couldn't see each other. I'm going to go and see her in 3 months. It's been 18 months. Countries are both back open now, and we're going to be reunited, and we'll probably make a video about that. We always had plans to make videos, but I'll tell you something I've learned coming out of this. I've had a year just sat in these four walls to think about what I want from life, and I realise it's time that I want to come back and get back on the horse and kick some fucking ass. And I'm gonna. So watch out, Mind Lab, because I have built a better Mind Lab. And she's good. This is the UK version of NITROvit. The UK won't let me use the US ingredients. No Nootropic, no alpha GPC. It's such a nanny state. But I'm back. And no matter how tough we have it, we've always had it tougher, right? I think back now, and as I talk to you about this and I tell you this story, I think, geez, what I went through, and I haven't really explained it. I can't explain how I felt that day when I was on the floor crying, just lost, and how I looked at the balcony and just thought, run, jump, run and jump now. My wife, I couldn't leave her, but equally I couldn't carry on. And yeah, I got through it. Now I'm just in a flooded market, and you know, maybe I just got to adjust or whatever. Maybe I just got to get back to work. Maybe I'll get on the camera and reach more people this way. But I just want them damn emails back. I couldn't give a fucking shit about the money anymore. I had money. It didn't interest me. I just bought some toys. It's not of any importance to me. I don't even like money. I'm not that good with it. But my God, I love touching people's lives. I love inspiring. I love touching people's lives. And so I guess in a way, this video today is for me more than anyone else. But if you're still watching, if there's one person and it's you just left, then just know that if this fucking idiot can do it, so can you. I pulled myself out of a gutter on $600 a month. And in the beginning, the first few years, made a lot of money. by connecting people to the solutions that they needed for their ailments and problems and changed their lives. And if you told me that 6 weeks before, I thought, 6 weeks before I met Susan and thought, you know what, I could build a supplement company, I would have laughed in your face. So anything is possible. I think it was Steve Jobs who said, I'm not a super big Steve fan. I know he was a tyrant in a way, but I do respect his philosophies and certainly the level of care he used to put into that business. And I think Steve said, remember, no matter how stupid or useless you feel, everything around you, no matter how complex or it was all created by people just like us, It was just created by someone. And it's amazing what we can do when we apply ourselves. So, I'm going to finish up here. But if anything in this story resonated with you, then understand that if I did it with no college, with no university, no Yale, no Harvard, no nothing, just sheer determination, the thought of that Mark guy, the first investor, sat there with his cigar just laughing. You care? You think care is a unique selling proposition, do you? I just got him in my head and I went, yeah, let's show you, mate. And I saw him, I did see him 3 years later. And I told him what we'd done. I said, good to see you again. I did get investment, and today we've done this amount. And fuck you. So, if someone's telling you can't do something, go tell them to go fuck themselves as well. Don't listen to them. Just listen to that and get busy, all right? I'm gonna go. I've talked enough, and I hope in some way that story has inspired you and let you know, with ADHD, with attention issues, whatever it is, never forget there's a lot of power within this problem we have. It is a problem. I recognize that now. That it, especially 8 years of doing this, I have got tired, and but understand that if we just stop focusing on what we're focusing on, oh I'm tired, oh I'm bored, I don't want this, and just hang on a minute, let's look over in this direction, maybe something new, something fresh. Understand, we're more powerful, we've got more energy than most people on this planet, we're sharper, quicker, faster. So, get busy. If you've got a business that you're working on, let me know in the comments. You want some help with something, you want to get on a Skype call with me, I'm sat here on my own doing nothing. I love to talk. Right now I'm doing a bit of consultancy work, helping people that want to get their own supplement businesses up and going, and I'm loving it. I'm just loving talking to people that are like-minded about business and stuff, not just talking about the weather or whatever with the average donut. It's been really nice. So if you want to get something going and you don't believe you can, give me a shout. I'll get on Skype with you and I'll let you know you can. I'll beat it out of you, all right? So listen, thanks for listening if you're still here. I don't know who's on this. I'm probably not even going to send this video. I'm not even going to probably email the list. I'm just going to slide this one onto YouTube, and because I know I've got about 40 subscribers or something, so this is a little one. And if you're like-minded, then you might still be here through all of this. And if so, I hope you enjoyed it. Stay strong and keep moving forward.